Game of the Week. Tonight's game is brought to you by Green's Ice Cream, the taste that takes you back. And Hartford Cable Network, your county connection.
Welcome to the Hartford Cable Network and to high school baseball here at the new Mariner Park at Kelly Field. You'll be watching Tony Blackburn, I should say, the head coach of Joppatowne, to say a few words as we kick off this brand new field.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to thank you all for coming out today, and I'd like to be the very first person to welcome everyone to Mariner Park at Kelly Field. As you look around, you can see the weather today. About 2 weeks ago, our principal, Mr. Ackerman, put out a weekly notice, and it said that in 2 weeks, on this Saturday, it's going to be 70 degrees and sunny. So I guess Mother Nature knows exactly what everybody else at Joppatowne High School knows. When Mr. Ackerman says to do something, you need to do it. I'd like to just, if you could, we're really excited here about this new facility we've been able to put up, and many, many people have gone into helping us see this day come. If you would like, at some point today, take a moment to look inside the game day program with all the numerous ads that have come through there that people have helped us out. If you take a look at our outfield wall, the other people that have helped do some of these things that we've been able to put around us today. And we're just going to go through and have some pregame ceremonies here, and then we'll go ahead and dedicate this field. So I'd like to ask Mr. Ackerman, the principal of Joppatowne High School, to come on out now.
Tom Ackerman, the principal of Joppatowne High School, Mariner Park at Kelly Field. Brand new field. This is the first time that baseball will be played here. Here's Tom Ackerman.
Thank you, everybody, and welcome. We don't want to take a whole lot of time because everybody wants to see the baseball game, but we did want to take a few minutes to thank some of the many people who have put this together who are here today. First, we wanted to do a little bit of history of Joppatowne and baseball and try to introduce the people that way. So the first couple people I'd like to introduce are the two coaches before Tony, the early years of Joppatowne and the middle years of Joppatowne. If I could ask Dan Gaughan and Al Zielinski to come out and be recognized.
Here come the two first coaches of Joppatowne, Dan Gaughan, the taller gentleman, Al Zielinski, the gentleman to his right as they come out to speak. Only three coaches have been here at Joppatowne. Dan Gaughan kicked off the program back in the early 80s. Al Zielinski, of course, was the man who took over after Dan Gaughan.
With these fields were woods long ago, and two of the people, one who's down working in our building now, and is not here, Mr. Roy Vandervarker, and another party who is here, fought to first get these woods cleared so that we could have additional fields. And we have representing that part of our history, Miss Hazel Morgan. She'll come out and thank you.
Here's Mrs. Hazel Morgan. Hazel's one of the early PTA members here at Joppatowne and was very, very active in the early days of Joppatowne High School.
We then got into the more modern phase. After the fields were cleared, there was a long period of time that nothing was done up here. And about 3 years ago, we started and got support from the Board of Education and the County Council and our partners. And those people helped get the drainage squared away, Parks and Rec helped get the field cut. So we had a lot of people to thank. Some of those we've been able to get here. We have our school partner who's helped us for 2.5 to 3 years now with all kinds of projects, and we wouldn't be here without him. From J. Vinton Schaefer, Mr. Warren Hamilton.
Is Mr. Warren Hamilton being introduced? Warren is one of the senior vice presidents of J. Vinton Schaefer, the adopted school partner here at Joppatowne. Done a lot for this school in many, many ways.
Our school board rep, who again has protected us through many of these adventures and helped us throughout the time we've been working on these projects, and we couldn't do without. We welcome and thank Mr. Bob Thomas.
There's Mr. Bob Thomas. Bob is the school board representative from the Joppatowne area, and being close to the situation, I can tell you, an advocate for Joppatowne and for all the Hartford County Public Schools. That's Bob Thomas.
Twice we needed help from the county in this project. Twice we received it. again, you know, somebody who's visited Joppatowne frequently. I called him at graduation last year, a friend of Joppatowne, somebody we think the world of. And again, he shows what he thinks of us by taking time out of an unbelievably busy schedule at a busy time of year. Welcome the County Executive, Mr. Jim Harkins.
This is Jim Harkins, the County Executive, on the run. Jim, one of my classmates at Hartford Community College, Bobby Griffin. A lot of folks in Hartford County owe their beginning to Hartford Community College. Jim Harkins was here earlier for the net weekend.
We had a lot of help, as Tony Blackburn said, putting this together. But there's no question, without the help of the C. Marklin Kelly Foundation, which is why we're here at Mariner Park at Kelly Field, this could not have been done. The financial resources we simply couldn't get and didn't have. And they were the ones that supplied us with that. Here representing that terrific endowment program with, I hope, is Louise Gardai here, I hope. Come on out, Louise. Louise is our parent who introduced us to the C. Marklin Kelly Foundation, and our good friend on the board who got us the endowment and the funds is Mr. Bowden Weisheidt. If you ask you to come out, and Mr. Weisheidt is going to throw out the first ball.
Louise Gardy, who is the lady from the PTA who made the connection between the Weisheidt Foundation that led to the money that helped this field be built in the name of Vincent C. Marklin Kelly, Jr. More about that in just a couple of moments.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for our starting lineups for the visiting Havre de Grace Warriors. First, our coach, Doug Heater. Our assistant coaches, Tony Fabrizani and Jeff Byers.
Adam Piacca.
Starting in center field, number 16, Philip Hooker.
Announcing the teams. First for Havre de Grace, the visitors.
Starting in right field, number 8, Mark Grissom. At shortstop, number 4, Josh Slagle. Pitching for the Warriors, number 30, Brian Slagle.
Brothers Josh and Brian Slagle.
At first base, number 14, Jeff Berthney. At third base, number 12, Justin Helmkamp. At second base, number 1, Justin Fabrizzini. At catcher, number 7, Rick Brotcher. And in left field, number 17, Sean Welsh. Rounding out the bench for the Warriors, number 11, Chris Fatias. Number 5, Jesse Allingham. Number 6, Matt Wiggers. Number 13, Fred Lloyd. And number 3, Tony Osborne.
Adam Piacca doing a nice job there. Chuck Marsden, my partner, you'll meet in just a moment.
And
Chuck
now,
Marsden sitting here with me.
for your Joppatowne Mariners,
Adam, giving it the treatment, Chuck Marsden.
our head coach, Tony Blackburn. Our assistant coach, Russ Myers. And our team manager, Megan McLemore.
Team manager Megan McLemore, a bit shy about coming out.
Pitching today for the Mariners, number 2, Jimmy Lutman. Starting in center field, number 3, Teddy Ballard. Our shortstop, number 10, John Hymas. Our slugger at DH, number 15, Bryant Jones. Catching, number 5, Jeffrey Bates. At first base, number 16, Frankie Rogers. In left field, number 11, Timothy Dean.
Tim's the captain of this team.
In right field, number 20, Ryan Davis. At third base, number 9, Alex Krankowski. And at second base, number 7, Billy Young.
At the starting lineup.
And rounding out the bench for the Joppatowne Mariners, number 4, Matt Heckrow. Number 24, Gary Dilworth. Number 18, Michael Watto. Number 12, Matt Jones. And number 14, Ryan Spahn.
That's the lineup for the Mariners and their non-starters.
And now, if everybody would please stand for our national anthem, being sung by one of our own Joppatowne natives, Amy Bortner.
Miss Amy Bortner now striding to the home plate area where she will be singing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Wow. Bobby Griffin, you're our official music critic. Pretty good voice. Yeah, that's a wonderful job by Miss Amy Bortner. And now we're ready for the first pitch to be thrown by Mr. Bowen Weinschein. And again, Mr. Weinschein is the gentleman who represents the foundation that put up the money that allowed for this field to be built. Very interesting story in honor of Mr. Kelly, Mr. Markland Kelly, who was a world pitch. Joppatowne catcher Jeff Bates, that is, will be receiving it. And here's the first pitch. I think that's a strike, Coach. I'm going to call it a strike.
It looks pretty good to me. Maybe we can save him for the later inning.
That's Mr. Bowen Weinschein, who threw out the first pitch. His foundation, again, the foundation that he represents, put up $30,000, which led to the building of this field and the creation of the dream come true, Chuck, for Joppatowne Mariners.
Well, I think they should be pretty proud of this particular facility. I haven't seen all of the other ones in the county, but I'm sure that this probably is as good, if not better, than most of the ones that you'll be seeing throughout the course of this spring.
Well, if you're keeping score at home, and hopefully you are, let's give you those starting lineups. First of all, for the visiting Havre de Grace Mariners, coming off a 6-13 year last year. Leading off is their senior center fielder, Philip Hooker. Batting second, their sophomore right fielder, number 8, Mark Grissom. The shortstop, number 4, Josh Slagle. He's a junior. His brother pitching today, Brian Slagle, the senior, captain of the team, number 30. At first base is Jeff Berthney, number 14, a junior. The captain also of this team, Justin Helmkamp, a junior at third base, number 12. Second baseman, number 1, Justin Fabriziani. Also the catcher, number 7, the senior, Rick Bratcher. And batting 9, left fielder, junior Sean Welsh, number 17. We'll set the Mariner defense for you. And third to first, we have Alex Krankowski starting at third base. John Hymas is the junior shortstop. Billy Young at second base and Frank Rogers at first base. In the outfield from left to right, Tim Dean, Ted Ballard, Ryan Davis, Jeff Bates doing the catching. And the starting pitcher, Chuck, this interesting situation. His name, Jimmy Lutman. Jimmy's a sophomore. He was their #1 pitcher last year, starting as a freshman. That doesn't happen a whole lot.
Not very often. It seems as though it takes the pitcher a long time to get the feel of things. But if he has a very good arm and he has a few, an assortment of pitches, I'm sure he can hold up pretty well under this kind of condition. But it's such a beautiful day. It's just ideal for baseball almost any time of the year.
Well, it certainly is. And again, early in March, you've coached and I've coached, and you know sometimes, here we are March the 25th, we've had it snowing on March the 25th.
Right.
So to have a nice 65, 70-degree day with sunshine, and a little bit of hazy sunshine out here, it's perfect.
Especially with the fact that even though there's a light breeze, it's not much of a one. And again, most times in the spring, you usually end up with some pretty windy days, which in some cases affect games. I don't think the wind today will have any effect upon the game whatsoever.
Shouldn't, Chuck. We're talking about the wind, the flags we're watching out there in right center field, the beautiful Maryland flag and the U.S. flag and the Harford County flag. If there is a wind, it's blowing perhaps from the 360-foot sign in left center over toward the right field corner, so that might help a long left-handed fly ball. We only have a couple left-handed hitters in the lineup, but it's going to be hard to jack one out to left field.
One nice thing about
Ladies and gentlemen, batting first for the Havre de Grace Warriors,
down the
number
line,
16,
it's only about
Philip
325
Hooker.
to the left, and the fence isn't very high.
Right.
So if you have any kind of power at all, there is always the potential that you can put one out of the park, even though, as I say today, the wind's not going to help you too much going to left field.
Well, Chuck, here it is, the historic first pitch at Mariner Park. And it's low and outside. I call it Mariner Park. It's Mariner Park at Kelly Field. That's the official name of this stadium. Ball one as the first pitch from Lutman to Hooker. Ground ball, fielded by the third baseman. That's Krankowski over to first base, and he's out 5-3. Nice scoop. Way to stay down on that ground ball. Tendency for infielders to want to come up, Chuck.
I know.
Krankowski did a nice job.
Batting
He's a
second
senior.
for the Havre de Grace Warriors, number 8,
Always it's
Mark
like being in a
Grissom.
prize fight. You know, until that first pitch is hit,
Right.
those nerves begin to take over. Mark Grissom now sophomore right fielder, number 8, left-handed hitter, as you can tell. Lutman just a bit high and out of the strike zone. Ball one.
I think everybody out there right now is a little bit anxious.
Strike, took something off of it. 1-1 the count.
Not knowing what kind of opposition you're facing.
Chuck, interesting to notice the shortstop is playing like this. We're a right-handed hitter. Ground ball to first base. Fielded. Nice job by Frank Rogers. He walks over and steps on first base. And 2 up and 2 down. Well, that's what you want as a pitcher, Chuck, to have those first 2 guys come up and go down.
Batting third for the Havre de Grace Warriors, number
he certainly
4,
has the ball
Josh
around the plate
Schlegel.
today so far.
Makes it a lot easier. You get to the big part of your lineup, Josh Schlegel and Brian Schlegel, they come up with nobody on base. That's exactly what you want. Bit high and out of the strike zone. Ball one. It's a nice delivery, Chuck. He seems to really use his legs.
Mm-hmm.
Took a lot off of it. Down the third baseline. That's fair. The first base hit here at Mariner Park. Taking the turn. He'll stop right there. Base hit for Josh Schlegel to left field. So with 2 out, Schlegel's on first base. Now brings up his
Batting
brother, Brian
fourth for the
Schlegel.
Havre de Grace
Brian,
Warriors,
the pitcher today.
number 30, Brian Schlegel.
Gives us a chance to tell you that Mike Lovejoy is at the plate as their umpire. Ben Upton is at first base. Larry Shepard at second base. And our good friend John Simpers is over there at third base. Well, nice save at first base by Frank Rogers. Jimmy Lutman trying to check on him and throws the ball over. Rogers evacuates the base, dives over the base runner, and saves the bad play. 2 out, runner at first base. If you just tuned in, 0-0 to score, top of the first inning. Taking a lot off of it on the changeup. Low and outside. Ball one. Brian Schlegel, senior, pitching today. 18 years old, 6 foot, 195 pounds. 3 sports star at Havre de Grace High School. Slams the ball into center field and deep. Back the center fielder. Has a beat on it. That's Ted Ballard, and that's the 3rd out. Good wood, or in this case, good aluminum, but the out is made. So, Chuck, it's in the books, the first half inning here at the new Mariner Park at Kelly Field. No runs, 1 hit, there were no errors, and there was 1 runner left on base.
I'm sure the Mariners feel very comfortable with the fact that they got through that inning. Now that it's underway, I think everybody can settle down and just sort of see how things work out. They have a lot of poise for young ball players.
And when you talk about a young ball club, you're certainly right. Sophomore Lutman is the pitcher. They've got a junior playing shortstop. They've got a junior as their DH. A sophomore is the catcher. They've got a junior as their first baseman, a sophomore as their right fielder. So you look at the battery mate, the pitcher being a sophomore and the catcher being a sophomore. Normally that spells a lot of trouble, but they seem to come through pretty well in that first inning.
Well, I think it's sort of a tribute to the kind of recreational ball some of these young players have been in. That they've been playing ball for a couple of years now, and it's just the level of competition is better, but I think they feel very comfortable being on the field, and other than the first inning jitters that anyone normally has, no matter how often you play, but we'll see how things progress. I think the left fielder, especially in that last inning, made a very good recovery on that ball hit down the line. I thought for sure initially that was going to be a two-base hit, but he handled it well, and he did keep that runner on first base.
That was Tim Dean, the senior, who made the play in left field. Give you the starting lineup here for Haverty Grace. The defensive lineup: Justin Helmkamp playing third, Josh Slagle is at short, Justin Fabriziani at second base, and Jeff Berthney's at first. Rick Bratcher, the senior catcher, Brian Slagle's on the mound. In the outfield, Sean Welch, Philip Hooker, and Mark Grissom from left field to right field. Starting lineup for Joppatowne, again, if you're keeping score at home: Jimmy Lutman is the sophomore pitcher. He leads off. Ted Ballard bats second, center fielder. John Hymas is the shortstop, number 10. He bats third. The DH is the cleanup hitter, Bryant Jones. He's a junior, DHing for Jeff Bates, the catcher. Frank Rogers is batting fifth. He's playing first base. Then Tim Dean, the captain, playing left field. Ryan Davis in right field. Alex Krankowski at third base. And the second baseman is Billy Young. And now here comes the first pitch to a Joppatowne Mariner batter as Jimmy Lutman, the pitcher, digs in. Got that open stance. Reminds you of Mike Bordick a little bit there at home plate.
Very much so.
Here's Ryan Slagle, the first pitch. Fastball inside corner, strike one. Well, whereas we saw Lutman had a lot of mixing pitches, it looks like Slagle is a fastball pitcher.
It appears that way.
It took a little bit off. It looked like he tried to spin the ball a bit. It didn't do a whole lot. 1-1 the count. Inside. Bit of chin music, as Sal Magley used to call that, the barber.
That's right.
See, it's only us old guys like Chuck and myself. I put myself as the old guy, Chuck as the ageless one, would remember Sal Magley. 2-1 the count. 2 balls and a strike.
Up.
Inside on the curveball. 3 balls and a strike now. Lutman, the leadoff hitter. Well, Chuck, the one thing you don't want to do is a free pass.
Not in the very first batter in the inning, that's for sure.
Jimmy Lutman, the pitcher, takes the time. He says, hey, it took too much time out there, Mr. Ump. Jimmy says, I'm ready. 3-1 the count. I'm going to put you in Tony Blackburn's shoes. You're going to be having him hacking here. Is he taking, Coach?
I think he'll be taking this particular pitch.
Yeah, wrong again.
Shows how
Pop
much.
up. And out of play on the right side. Our cameraman Trey over there, very brave. Did you notice how he didn't flinch at all? Actually, he was diving for cover, but no, he hung with it over there. Melissa Leonard, our camera person to the left side.
I think it's rather difficult sometimes for young batters to sort of take a pitch because they're very uncomfortable going to 3-2 count. So he saw something that he thought he could hit, and he went for it.
And here is that 3-2 pitch. Oh, the curveball breaks a bit low. Shows a lot of confidence in the curveball to throw it at 3-2,
Well,
and shows a good eye to take it at 3-2.
I'm not sure I could have taken that pitch myself.
Yeah, I'd have been hacking.
Awfully close.
I really do think he was fooled by the pitch, and then it's the kind of thing you just look at the umpire and say, thanks a lot, Mr. Blue.
That's right.
That'll bring up Ted Ballard, the senior center fielder. Ballard lettered last year. Left-handed hitter. Chuck, you going to be bunting him over here?
I think that's probably...
Strike on the outside corner. No indication of the bunt that time.
This early in the season, I think it's probably called for it just to see how the Grace players will handle that kind of a game situation.
throw to first. Boy, he had a big lead over there. Looked like Lutman may have been going on the pitch, and very wisely, Slagle checks him over to first base as Jeff Berthney puts the tag on him.
I don't know what kind of speed the runner has, but if they keep giving him that kind of a lead, there's no question he'll be going.
Not this time. Line shot to left field. It's falling. Going to be foul out there. You know, it's interesting that Lutman, the pitcher, is not wearing a jacket. In the old days, you used to put that jacket on.
That's
and
right.
Jimmy says, I don't need a jacket. I'm tough out here.
Now they're just making players tougher these days.
Not insinuating that back in 1962 when I was playing under the tutelage of Chuck Marsden that we weren't quite as tough. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, I'm not putting it that way.
Oh, thank you, partner.
Under the game conditions that we had at those times, just being on the field meant that you were pretty capable of handling just about anything.
Remember, we had the flannel uniforms in those days.
Oh.
That was tough enough. 2-strike pitch. Not going. Strike 3 on the fastball. So 1 out now. Catcher Rick Bratcher runs the ball all the way down the first base line. And brings up Mr. John Hymas, the junior shortstop. He lettered last year. Also lettered as a freshman. He pitched a 9-inning, 10-strikeout win over Towson in the region semifinal 2 years ago when he was actually 3 years ago when he was a freshman. Again, checking on Lutman at first base is Slagle. Well, he's dangerous making that throw. There's a lot of foul territory over there. If that ball gets by the first baseman, he's gone all the way to third base. 1 out, 1 on. Lutman walked, Ballard fanned, and now John Hymas. There he goes, inside curveball. He's got it stolen. And into center field the ball goes, backed up neatly by the shortstop, Josh Slagle. Catcher Bratcher didn't get a whole lot on that throw, Chuck.
No, I knew it was just a matter of time before, with the kind of a lead that he had, that he would have been foolish not to try it. Test the catcher's arm this early in the game and see what he has.
And he got just the right pitch, too, a curveball
yes.
inside.
Yeah.
Difficult for the catcher to shift those feet and make a good throw. So now in scoring position with 1 out is Jimmy Lutman at second base. Ball was inside, a 1-ball count here. Bit of Louis Tion action that time by Slagle. Count rides at 1-1 now. That's deceiving.
We may have to send out a little brochure to all the listeners to make sure they know who these references are.
And you're right. I'll tell you a story about when I was teaching history in a few moments. We have a curveball, hangs up high, and oh yeah, he says it's a strike. I think that ball may have been inside, but Mr. Lovejoy is the one who has the call. 1-2 the count. He used to make reference to John Kennedy's assassination as to you could remember exactly where you were when you heard that news. Here's the pitch now. Got inside. Nice job. Good block by Bratcher. Until one of the kids raised their hands and said, Mr. Morrison, I wasn't born in 1963. That let me know I had crossed the threshold of being from a young man to an old geezer.
That's right.
Yeah, Louis Tion, for those of you uninitiated, used to turn his back on every pitch to the batter. It'd be awfully disconcerting as a batter to see the back of his number coming at you. There's a shot down the left field line, coming in now. It's going to be foul and out of play it is. Sean Welsh making the move all the way over to the fence down the left field foul line. Out of play it goes. The count rides at 1-2 on John Hymas. Hymas, the shortstop, lettered last year, as we said. Batting third in the lineup. No score if you just tuned in. Inaugurating the new Mariner Park at Kelly Field. Good crowd here with us. Down low it is. Bratcher going down to third base is Lutman. Wild pitch. That's the danger of taking something off the ball, and the catcher just tries to block it, but he's at the mercy of where that ball spins to.
When a ball hits up in front of the plate like that, a catcher just has to try to smother it. If you can't keep it in front of him, it's an inevitable advance of a base. There's nothing you can do about it.
Chuck, I'm going to put you in Doug Heater's shoes now. Do you bring your infield in here in the first inning?
I wouldn't do so in the first inning of the ball game. Let's see how things play out. And let the pitcher control the game if he can.
2-2. Line shot foul down the third base line.
Well, he got-
Hymas timed that
he got good-
fastball perfectly.
Yeah, he got very good wood on that ball. The ping of the bat gives you the impression that everything that's hit is going somewhere. For those of us who are used to the old wooden bats, it's an entirely different sound.
Chuck, do you really believe that the ball travels more quickly, faster off
Oh.
the aluminum bat?
There's no question. It's only because it's much easier to control the bat. It's much lighter, and you can actually get more speed into your swing. So, which is always the secret of hitting anyway.
2-2 now. Curveball.
And the faster you can bring the bat around, the better off you are. And with these light aluminum bats, if you have any kind of power at all, you can really put a sting on anything that's hit.
Of course, as folks know, I'm sure, major leaguers do not use wooden bats. None of the professional leagues, I should say, use aluminum
Use
bats.
aluminum bats,
Yeah,
right.
they do in college, and
Right.
there have been some nasty injuries in college. They've talked about eliminating the aluminum bat from college. Full half swing. Shortstop goes out. Did a nice job, did Hymas in getting something on the bat, but popped it up to the shortstop.
The designated hitter.
That'll be
number
2 out.
15, Brian
Runner stays at third base in the form of Jimmy Lutman. And so now we have 2 out. That'll bring up Bryant Jones, the junior DH. Interesting, Bryant Jones was the all-county running back, led the league in rushing this year. Bryant has recovered from a devastating knee injury that sidelined him a year or so ago, and looks like he's fully recovered now. 2 down, runner on at third base. Swung on and missed.
It's a very nice swing, though. Looks like he has a very good eye for the ball.
Lutman leading off at third base. Outside on the fastball, 1-1. Interesting that the pitcher, Brian Slagle, not using a stretch. Do you favor the windup or the stretch with a runner on third base?
Again, I'd leave it up to the individual pitcher. If he feels much more comfortable, let him go.
Down low, 2-1.
And it appears as though he's more comfortable coming out of his motion as opposed to out of a stretch. So it's his man to hit,
Here's the pitch. Curveball. Hangs outside. Michael Lovejoy gives it a good look and says, no, that didn't catch it at all. That'll make the count now 3 balls and a strike. 3-1. Bottom half of the first inning. No score so far. Curveball.
Huh?
Took something off of it. Full count now. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Big pitch of the ball game so far. No score. Bottom of the first inning.
I think the batter might have been a little bit fooled on that pitch. I think he was really expecting a fastball and
You don't
sort of
normally
froze
get
him there for a second.
don't normally get a curve on 3-1.
Not in this kind of ball.
Outside, ball 4.
He went back to his fastball, but
Now I'm going to put you in the managing shoes again of Mr. Blackburn, Mr. Tony Blackburn. Do you do the double steal here early in the ball game?
well, I'm not sure about a double steal, but I certainly would send the runner at first base down to second to see whether or not the catcher will throw or if not.
Frankie Rogers, the first baseman, number 16 up. Runners at first and third, 2 out. Slagle out of the stretch. Foul ball, tip foul, back to the screen. 0-1. Outfield looks like they're just about straight away. Obviously, early in the year, you don't have a big scouting report, so
You almost look in and see how large the guy is at the plate and play accordingly sometimes.
325 down the line and left, 300 in right. They call it the purple monster out there in right field. If we get a shot sometime during the game, you'll notice it. Reminds you of Camden Yards with that high wall in right field. I'm going to assume that maybe they're going to try to put a scoreboard there someday as they continue to work here on Mariner Park at Kelly Field. Deepest part of the park is in right center at 390, straightaway center at 360. Again, reminds you a bit of Camden Yards that, the deepest part of the field is not to straightaway center field.
Right.
1 strike now, the count. Fastball, down low and outside. 1-1 the count. Again, runners at first and third. 1 at first is Bryant Jones. At third is Jimmy Lutman. Both walks. Lutman stole second, moved to third on a wild pitch. Stayed there as Jones walked. There he goes. They're going to throw through to second base, but they cut it off. The old idea is we're going to throw to second base.
I just assumed that that would be the ideal way to play it, because I just had a feeling that they weren't going to try to really get the guy at second base. Sort of give him a chance and hope the guy at third decided to try to come in, and the cutoff play was there. So if he had tried to come home, I don't think he could have made it.
Fabriziani cut it off. Strike, high fastball. Run the count now to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fabriziani came over when Chuck was talking about the cutoff play, came in front of second base and cut the ball off short. Lutman, though, held on at third base, and so Bryant Jones went in with the steal. Curveball, foul off the bat.
Little bit of an excuse me there.
That's called get out of here, be anywhere but here when that curveball comes. But he got the bat in the way. Luckily for the batter Rogers, he fouled the ball off, and so it maintains the count at 2-2.
As you can see, the pitcher has gone back to his actual pitching motion again.
Curveball again. That'll fill the count out at 3-2. Because you can't turn your runners loose here, because if he walks, then you'd run into an out. So the runners will be holding on. Second and third, 2 out. Full count. Ball 4 down low, and so now Slagle has walked the bases full. With 2 out, that'll send up Tim Dean, the captain, number 11. Interesting story about that number 11. 2 years ago when Tony Blackburn started coaching this team, his captain wore number 11. When he graduated, he passed the 11 down to the captain the next year, and now Tim Dean is captain, and he's wearing number 11. Nice to start traditions like that, Coach.
Yes, it is.
Curveball up high.
Now batting for the Mariners, Timmy Dean.
No place to put Dean. Bases are loaded. We are FOM full of Mariners. G-Reich, the high riding fastball, 1-1.
The batter has sort of an unusual stance. He's keeping his hands back much farther behind his head than most batters would, but that's his comfort level.
Good little curveball. He's down on the count now, is Dean, by 1-2. Notice also, Chuck, he's up on the toe of that left foot.
Right.
Why is he doing that?
Again, for some batters, that's a matter of balance. They feel much more comfortable with all their weight on their back foot.
1-2, big pitch here. Ooh, just a bit outside. Brian Slagle wanted it. So did his catcher, Rick Bratcher. Mike Lovejoy, though, says no, that was a bit high and outside. 2-2 the count. Brian Slagle, the pitcher. Strike 3. And in the dirt, he's got to throw to first base and does successfully. If you're scoring at home, that strikeout will be from 2-3 as Slagle gets out of the inning. Difficult inning for him. We're not keeping track of the pitches right now, but he probably threw about 25 or 30 pitches in that first inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, but 3 runners left on base, all by walks. So nothing here, Chuck, at the end of 1 inning of play, but Slagle really had to labor in that first inning.
Well, again, first inning of a game, season beginning, all of these factors. Not quite sure what he
After the end of
can
one,
expect from the
out of the grade
opposition.
0, and our Mariners.
But I think he did pretty well in getting himself out of that situation. He had some pretty good hitters that he inadvertently walked, but when the situation called for it, he was able to get the ball over the plate.
He's a big fella, is Brian Slagle, and so I don't think it's going to hurt him a whole lot. Remember, we go 7 innings in high school baseball. Jimmy Lutman now was on the bases. Still a lot of running out there. It's a sophomore, though. You don't worry too much about a kid getting winded, but you know, there's only so much energy in a body no matter how old you are, so you don't want your pitcher out there running around a lot, but you know, he's the leadoff man in the order, so you know, Coach Blackburn is depending a lot on him.
Looks like the sun's trying to break through. I don't think it'll affect the game in any way. It appears to be coming almost directly overhead, so I don't think it'll affect any of the balls hit into the air. So.
Leading off the second for the
Hazy
Warriors,
sunshine. Bobby
number
Griffin just
14,
asked the
the
question.
first baseman,
We're a little bit off
Jeff
center here, but it does look like home plate might be just a little bit crooked, a little cockeyed toward the first base foul line?
I think so.
The answer, Bobby, is no. I don't think there's a reason, and if it is, it's probably will be repaired. Remember, this is the first game ever played here on Mariner Park at Kelly Field, so maybe a few bugs to be straightened out. Jeff Berthney, the first baseman, half swing, looks at the third base umpire, John Simpers, and John says, yes, indeed, he went around, and so it's strike one on Jeff Berthney. Berthney, 5'9", 190 pounds, 3.5 GPA, Coach. You like to hear those kind of things.
Oh, yes.
Strike two, he's fooled. Top of the second inning, Havre de Grace Warriors, nothing, and Joppatowne, nothing. Berthney also a member of the National Honor Society. Shot to shortstop. Fielded over there by Hymas. Long throw to first base. Safe at first base. Good wheels by Berthney as he beats it out for an infield single. Helps being a left-handed hitter, Chuck. You're a step and a half closer to first base.
Plus, I think the shortstop may have waited a fraction too long. I think he might have come in a step, and if he had come in a step, perhaps he could have gotten him, but he did wait an extra second or so, and that gave the runner a little bit of an edge going down the first baseline.
Justin Helmkamp, one of the tri-captains on the Havre de Grace Warriors team at bat now, takes the ball outside. Ball one. Berthney on at first base on the infield base hit. Helmkamp, 17 years old, 6'1", 150 pounds. This guy plays lead trombone on the Havre de Grace High School Jazz Band. That's a combination.
Right.
Did you play an instrument when you were in school, Chuck?
I'm afraid not. My musical talent was limited to humming.
Humming?
Yes, I was a very good hummer for a long time.
I've heard that. Back to first base, Berthney diving in. Nice to get that uniform dirty, you know. You bring it home, you say, Mom, look.
That's right.
You know, I got my uniform dirty. But you know, when I was playing, I used to fall down a lot, so it looked like that I was sliding.
Well.
Say, yeah, but you're 0 for 5. You never got off the bench.
Uh-oh.
Ball gets by, going down to second
Easy.
base. Catcher Jeff Bates allowed that changeup to get by him on the right side of him, and we'll call that a wild pitch. That'll send Berthney down to second base. Had a chance to talk to Jeff Berthney Sr. I'm going to assume it's Jeff Berthney Sr. I do know his name is Jeff. Jeff is a Parks and Recreation guy, been around the Aberdeen area for many, many years. Very proud of his son, Jeff Berthney Jr., first baseman.
Now we certainly have a situation where we can almost guarantee a bunt attempt.
Yeah, Justin.
See how they play this. Everyone seems to be coming in a little bit. Third baseman's right up at the edge of the grass.
Justin Helmkamp walking. Runners at first and second. Throw back to first base. That's a nice play. You know, when you're the trail runner, a lot of times you sort of take your concentration away. Lutman did a nice job by faking the second base and then firing to first base, and also doing a nice job as Helmkamp to stay awake. First and second, nobody out. Justin Fabriziani. The senior second baseman.